If you are into reading non-fiction books, you'd recognize this title. It says, "What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School" by, I think his name was Mark McCormack or something. I read it when I was very young, man. I think in my 20s. Okay. Through life, I went through life reading a lot of books, non-fiction, trying to find out, the secrets to success. And my generation was more of the 80s, where motivational, inspirational stuff was there. No social media was there. So we had only books, DVDs, MP3s, and all that. But to my surprise, where Harvard Business School is supposed to be the high watermark of education, I never thought in my life I would get people from Harvard contacting me for my opinions. Okay, I know what you'll say. Who the hell would look at your face, man? Who the hell would come to you? Stop giving so much of bullshit. I know, I've got that. You don't have to believe me. I don't need your stamp of approval. I'm telling you that I had people, lecturers as well as students, in these many years contact me, and yes, I've been able to verify that it is actually them. And don't ask me how I know that. Okay, that's my business. Anyway, let's focus more on the story, the part which you would believe. You can ignore what you don't believe. Okay, so these people from Harvard, or individuals from Harvard, whenever they would call me, they would take my opinion on, just a conversation or discussion. They would pay me. It was a paid session. Initially, obviously, the first time it was like, oh, Harvard, me? Although I didn't show them that. But over the period of time, you realize these are human beings also. They're human beings like you. And, obviously, maybe because you would not meet anyone with my face in Harvard, maybe you could say that curiosity is there. Let's see what this tattooed guy will say, this so-called dropout. So one of the questions that they would ask me is the real life lessons, the real stuff, kind of the street smart, the hardcore stuff that you get on the street. They would talk to me about those things, relationships, controversial stuff that they couldn't talk to anyone. So one of the most powerful lessons I had given them, or most of them, I would tell them, from this movie, like whenever I would share any, this is because storytellers do this. They make a point, tell a story. So in my case, what I would do is I would tell the story and give them the point. And the story one of my favorite stories that I would share with these guys is, I don't know if you have seen this movie, Pursuit of Happiness. Pretty sure, since it's a very feel-good movie, almost everyone must have seen it. You must have seen bits and pieces on YouTube clips. There are many favorite scenes of mine. When Will Smith tells his son, he's shooting hoops, and he tells him, "Hey man, hey son, you're not going to be a basketball player, just forget it." And then his son actually throws a basketball and walks depressed. And then Will Smith feels bad and says, "Listen, don't let anyone tell you what you can or cannot do. Someone who has not achieved will tell you how to live your life, You do what you have to do." I'm paraphrasing. If you got a dream, go and chase it. Okay. Then another powerful scene, Pursuit of Happiness, is when he's in the toilet and his son is sitting and he's holding his son's tear and he's crying, and they are trying to hammer the toilet door. Another one is when he gets a job, and towards the end of the movie, it's like feel good. It's like that's called happiness. So there are many moments in that movie that really stand out. One of them is, when he has to go for the interview, he's coming with a shirt with paint, and he tells him, "You must be asking yourself, how come I'm dressed up like this? I got a ticket." And then he gets a job, but then he realizes he doesn't get his salary for it. But my favorite scene in the movie is none of these. Okay, the favorite scene for me, the favorite scene in the movie, which has not only changed my life but has redefined so many things, is it's a very innocuous scene. I don't know if you'll even remember it. When he joins his company and he finds out that he's not going to get a salary. So that's the first shock. And then they say, okay, you have to make calls. That scene is my favorite scene. And that is, he takes the phone and he keeps it to his ear. And he is talking and narrating and saying, he would keep his glass of water here. He would keep his directory here. You just put the phone next to the ear. And he would speak, oh, yes, sir, how are you doing? This is so-and-so. Yes, this is what? Gardner. And, oh, yeah, okay, you're busy, all right, bye. And he would disconnect the phone receiver is still in his ear. And he would disconnect and immediately dial the next number. Next number, he would speak, hi, this is Chris Gardner, and just want to speak to you about this and that. And then finally, okay, disconnect the call. And, then they would show a part of the video where these other guys would be standing next to the water cooler and they'd be chit-chatting. People would walk to the water cooler and then they would stand there, they would talk. What he did was, he made sure that instead of going to the water cooler, he bought the water next to him. Instead of having to waste time talking to other people, he sat in his chair. And instead of having to pick up the phone and put it to his ear and put it back, he would just glue it here, like not literally glue, keep it here and dial fast. So he would save the few seconds. And he would keep doing this so that where other people would call one person, let's say 5 people in 1 hour or 10 people in 1 hour, Chris Gardner or Will Smith, who played that character, would call 20 or 30 people in 1 hour. So he was being efficient, he was being effective, he was being, he had given himself a target, he was being persistent, he was being focused, he was being driven. You can think of any word that is positive, like perseverance, focused, driven, smart work, hard work, whatever. He was all of it. And more than that, he also had to leave on time so that he could take his son and get food stamps or a place to stay. Others, he would come late, there'd be no place to stay. So he was facing this obstacle also, and plus he had to take care of his son. So he faced so many obstacles, but he was tough, he was focused, he was, he didn't take no for an answer. Even if someone said no, even if someone said I don't care, even if someone laughed at him, mocked at him, he was like always smiling, always ready to try. It was that character that made us love Will Smith, made that character so endearing. And no matter how tough the obstacle, it always, yes sir, how are you doing? And he was a sweet talker and he was a salesman, and he'd always be smiley and cheerful and happy, and because nobody gave a fuck about his problems. Nobody cared a damn what he was going through. Whether he had money, didn't have money, whether he had food, no food, whether he had a son to take care of, expenses, nobody cared. In fact, he was even working for the company with nothing. But he kept at it. He had a long-term vision that this company can change my life and can get a Ferrari, and I want to do that. He had a dream. Even though, the steps that he saw, there was nothing. And he didn't give up. So this is a story I share with these people. And they listen to it. It's not that they have not seen it. But I remind them. And I tell them, keep your education, and by the way, they are very well-to-do. Those who can afford a Harvard education, they are not only rich, they are the creme de la creme. Their upbringing, everything is perfect. Their lives are literally perfect, you could say. Seriously, even their upbringing, world class. Their parents spend time with them. They are the creme de la creme. So when I give them this grassroots kind of reality, they listen to it and they appreciate. And you'd not believe, many of them literally this is a fact, huh? Many of them, even though they are studying in these big Harvard or Yale or Ivy League universities, they go and work with the poorest of the poor. They go and work in challenging environments. They go and work in the tough neighborhoods. They don't flaunt their credentials, their money, their wealth. They keep it hidden because they want to learn what it is. Even as something as flipping a burger or cleaning the streets or working in a poor shanty place. I even know one guy, he literally went down to India to work in the rough, tough, Hindi speaking, bad word, this thing, where he literally had to squat in the toilet. His father sent him there because he wanted him to learn, and he went there for like 6-7 months. He wanted him to succeed and show. So this is what makes your character. This is what builds you. I know this might sound like a fairy tale, but I'm telling you, these are real facts. Facts that you'll not read in a book or nobody will talk about. And we normally get people on social media bragging and talking about all this. The real achievers, the real people, the really educated ones, the classy ones, they are not on social media busy bragging, showing off, talking. They keep it very quiet. Except the ones who want to make a YouTube career. And for these people, YouTube career is a joke. Unless you're some Ali Abdul Aziz or whatever his name is. He's one among billions. The rest of them don't get into all this. So the point, I don't know what lesson you would pick up from this, but for me, when I share this story with them, I ask them, what life lessons are you picking up from here? What is it that you think is happening? And I'll tell you these, when you go through this kind of reality, like what Chris Gardner was going through, when you experience that, it's life-changing. It's an education which no matter how much money you spend, you'll never get it. And for me, I've been through that. I've been through that many times in my life, many times, where I've been a nothing or nobody, and that also with this face, this tattooed face, being an outcast, with this demeanor, I still achieved, a modicum of success, by which today I'm living this life that I'm living. So yeah, if there was one thing that I would always love to share with anybody who is educated, successful, it would be that movie, And not just watching it for entertainment's sake. That's not how you watch a movie. You watch a movie by being there, by living those moments, by literally feeling those moments, where you can feel that person's pain and can think what the person's thinking, be where that person is. And once you're there and you really live or enact that moment, that's life-changing. For me, the life lessons that I have faced through my failures, they made me who I am. And I would say the best evidence for this was this movie, The Pursuit of Happiness. So yeah, this is one of my favorite examples that I give these guys. And I thought today maybe I would give it to you. Anyway, let me know what do you think. Good, bad, ugly, feel free to comment down below. And remember, none of us are reinventing the wheel. We are just stating life lessons that completely change, transform, and build our character. And those lessons are always universal. Alright, good, bad, ugly, feel free, comment down below. It's me signing off. Guys, take care.